Hi there, everyone. What's up? I want to welcome everyone back to another movie review, and this time we came to the fourth and final movie in the Little Weapon franchise, and this is Little Weapon 4, directed by Richard Donner, and this time was written by a completely different screenplay than Jeffrey Boom and the other screenwriter, which is it wasn't written by Shane Black or Jeffrey Boom, which he wrote the second and the third movie. And yeah, we finally came to the final and fourth film the franchise. And in my opinion, Little Weapon 4 is still little. It's still little. It's still a good movie. It's still a good movie, but it's not better than the trilogy. The trilogy is to be the best one, but it's still a good movie. It's still little. Little Weapon 4, I don't have the VHS or the DVD, but I do have the Blu-ray. So yeah, that's the Blu-ray. And been a big, huge fan of the trilogy, especially the third one when we got a new character that she was the love of my life, Lorna Cole. And I completely grew up with watching trilogy non-stop, especially the first two movies on VHS tape, That's why I show you all the VHS tape. And if I rank them, the first one's my number one, second is number three, Little Weapon 3, second one, the third favorite will be Little Weapon 2, and this will be the fourth favorite. No, it's not my least favorite, it's still a good movie, it's still a little movie, still little in my opinion, it's still a good movie. All four are great movies, and this is the final movie. It took 6 years till they actually did got the fourth movie. And after I watched the trilogy non-stop, and when the Little Weapon 3 ended so great, so perfectly ended, I really wanted to have the another sequel, because I really wanted, I imagined such a beautiful, happy life with Riggs and Lorna, and that's what the fourth movie with Richard Donner happened. This is the fourth movie. I mean the Little Weapon quadrilogy, all four movies, is actually the only, in my opinion, the only best one, the franchise that Richard Donner directed, Yeah, he directed Superman, but he got fired in Superman 2 because he didn't deliver it what we as fans from Superman 2 expected, And Richard Donner is actually my least favorite director, but Little Weapon 4 trilogy, especially the fourth one, all four movies I really enjoy. And I'll say it's still a fun action film with comedy. It has a lot of humor and comedy elements, but still a fun action film. And I'll say still little. It's still little. I think even on IMDb it's written that it's still little. That is actually still little film, but yes, Little Weapon 4 is great. By the way, my dog wants to say hi, Rick. Oh my god, I love this dog. But yeah, the fourth movie, I would still say it's actually a good movie, and the gang is all here, like it's written. The gang is all here, it's written. And Little Weapon 4 stars Mel Gibson, Danny Glover, Joe Pesci, Rene Russo, Chris Rock, and Jet Li. And directed by Richard Donner once again, and of course written by, I wrote down, written by Shannon Gibson, and story by Jonathan Lemkin, Alfred Guch, and Miles Miller, which they wrote a screenplay, the story, but was written by Shannon Gibson's screenplay, which is kind of different. But this movie actually cost them more, this was actually, of all the Little Weapon movies, the fourth one cost them more money, because the budget was actually $140 million. The first one was only $50 million, the second one was $28 million, I think the third one was $35 million. But it made less money than Little Weapon 3, because Little Weapon 3 was a big hit. Little Weapon 3 made $321 million. While the first one was only 100, I think was $120 million, and the second one it made, I think was 220 or $280 million, somewhere there. The third one was the most successful. This made less money than the first one, I mean, less money. It made less money than actually Little Weapon 2 and 3. The first one wasn't such a big hit like was Little Weapon 2 and 3. But yeah, it made worldwide. I think it made 285. It kind of surpassed the second one, but the most successful, which made the most money, was actually the third one. But Little Weapon 4, yeah, it was a still good movie. I will still try to give a chance to the series, which came out 2016 and ended 2019, which also stars Damon Wayans from The Last Boy Scout, which I love. The Last Boy Scout to that. But Little Weapon 4 for the 90s is still a good movie. It's still a good movie. But the trilogy is my favorite. It's the best one. This will be probably my number 4 film. Fourth film. But yeah, now to the story. The story was about riot gangs. About how you call it? I think it's about smugglers who are actually I think was those smugglers human trafficking case. This movie is about human trafficking case in which Riggs and Murtaugh and of course Leo Getz, they get involved, and now Riggs and Murtaugh are investigating the trafficking ring, and of course the leads brings them to Chinese riots. But yeah, that's where the story complicates. And like in the opening scene, this guy this guy has a flame torch and bulletproof vest on himself, and he goes and fires a machine gun and torches everyone, and Riggs and Murtaugh, they show up, and they start they start shooting at the guy, but the bullets, nothing happened. And I love when Murtaugh gets dressed, in underwear, shorts, and of course Riggs by distracting the shooter on a rampage, and of course Riggs shoots in the tank, and the guy flies, and there's a practical explosion. I think whole truck explodes, so great practical effect, in my opinion. This movie was almost 9 months later when we found out that Lorna is now pregnant, and she's waiting for with Riggs. They both live in the trailer, and she's waiting for her baby. She's waiting for her first baby, and in the meantime, Murtaugh finds out that his daughter Rianne is also pregnant, and she's also waiting a baby, but he doesn't know who the father is, so far. And there's this guy, Lee Butters, played by Chris Rock. He non-stop. He annoys and bugs and annoys Murtaugh, and at first he thinks that he's in love with him, which he wasn't. But yeah, he thinks that he's gay, But we later find out that Lorna tells Martin that the father is actually Lee Butters, and Rianne Lee Butters, they secretly married, and everyone knows except Roger, which is great. I actually laughed through most of the movie, this film, and also Roger, when they're actually Roger Martin on his boat, that his ship comes cruising, and there's still 5 scenes when Riggs goes on a board, and I forgot to write, but he still has that gun with laser. I think it was Glock. I think I did not watch his gun correctly, or Murtaugh's gun, but yeah, he was still in the ship. They found they actually found immigrants who were who are actually victims of human trafficking, which they had to call all those IRS. They had to call all of those IRS, immigrations, which they were actually all fugitives. They were, I don't know that much, but yeah, they were all like fugitives. On the boat, when the Murtaugh's boat gets blew up, they also the trio, they're actually in this, they're actually on this boat. And there's a shark, and of course not Joe Pesci, Leo wants to shoot he wants to shoot the shark, and Roger takes his gun away, and Martin throws the gun overboard, which was actually funny. But on Roger's boat, he finds another immigrant, and because he doesn't want him, he brings him his home, because he tries to do something nice, something really nice, Murtaugh tries to do something nice, which I love that by the character. And yeah, I love that by the character. It's still awesome, And when Roger and Lorna when Martin and Lorna shows up, they found the Chinese, and now they found immigrants, and Roger did not want to turn them in, so they go to the station, and now they got promotion, and they became both captains. From sergeant they became captains, both of them. So now they decide. To enjoy their time. They got promotion. They became captains, which is awesome. And they both waiting now on a baby. His Rick's fiance is now actually pregnant. Daughter of Roger is also pregnant. They both wait on a baby, but they have to go and investigate this case of a Chinese human trafficking rig, human trafficking case, which they have to investigate, and the lead brings them to Uncle Benny Chen, played by Kim Chen. They go to this Chinese restaurant, and they found one of the two Chinese guys, and also they meet Jet Li's character, Waxin Ku, and and of course Riggs and Murtaugh, they start kicking names, in the restaurant. And I love when Jet Li said, "In Hong Kong, you will be dead." I love that, I love that. I really do love that. In Hong Kong, you will be dead. I love the lines, But that's actually what happened. The two guys that they meet, they ran away on the building, because Mel Gibson, Martin Riggs, he couldn't catch him, but almost falls down, and Kim, and of course Lee Butters, actually they find a dumpster, and Riggs jumps in a dumpster, Butters catches the other guy, but he says that they put the guns, that's why he ran, so they let him go. They had no choice, and of course they of course in the car they meet Leo, because he was following them. Leo, once again, Leo becomes now a private investigator from a mob accountant. He becomes a private investigator, which is awesome. In this movie, he's actually private investigator. That's why he has a hat on it. He's a private investigator. He's following them, and he also made sleep butters. And then the station was a funny scene. A cop shows up, and as we don't know him, he's drunk. I was laughing my ass. They once again Riggs and Murdo, they make full out of Leo. I love that, so they decide, because he's so annoying, they decide to put Leo. Oh my god, they decide to put Leo on the case of Danny Chen. The most funny scene, in my opinion, was the telephone scene when someone calls Chris Rock and he answers. It's the guy, the caller hangs down. And Leo starts annoying both of them, Riggs and Murto, and I love when Riggs calls him. I was so laughing my ass off, Or the other scene where there's Dr. Stephanie Woods, this is actually the name that she got, Marie Ellen Trainor, rest in peace. She passed away 2015. She was in this movie that I love to death, Gail Wallens. And Riggs asks her for advice, because about the marriage, and she's like, call rude. She says, no, you wanted to tell me, in my office that you want to marry Murto, I was on my ass. So she was very rude, and she said, I want to take the time for someone else, blah, blah, blah. And I love when he completely, embarrassed her in front of all the squad, he says, Stephanie, I'm sorry, I can't go on a date with you. I'm married, I have a fiance, I have a girlfriend home, I can't go on a date. I'm sure you're gonna find someone that's definitely, but it's not gonna be me. And she's like all pissed, she keeps screaming at everyone, and she was embarrassed her, and he so when he calls Leo, I was laughing my ass off. The movie's still a comedy. Oh my god. Or they go to the dentist and Leo pretends that his tooth are hurting him. Oh my god. This is such a more comedy. Oh my god. Yeah, I'm sorry, but it is laughable. I was still laughing my ass over this film, Oh my god. But yeah, I'm still gonna say, because Little Weapon 3 and 4, they got on IMDb 6.7. So I would say it's actually in par with all four of them, My favorite one is gonna be the first one, then the third one, then the second one. The trilogy kicks ass, in my opinion. The fourth one is still good. On its own, it's still good. All of them. There's no bad Little Weapon movie. They're all great. All are great, This if I remember the scenes, I'm still laughing, when they all when Butters and when Butters and Roger and of course Riggs, they got laughing guys, they all laugh each other. Or when Riggs keeps saying butter, porter, butter, burger. Oh my god, I was laughing my ass off with his last name, Butter. But yeah, there's a fight scene, and by the way, Jackie Chan, go fuck yourself, Jackie Chan. Yeah, they asked him to play in this movie as a bad guy. He said no. You know what? Fuck him. Nowadays Jackie Chan is disgrace. He does nothing but jack shit movies. The Foraging, fuck the Foraging. Jackie Chan is disgrace. He doesn't even do his stunts anymore. He used to do that. He used to be a legend. I don't respect him anymore. Jet Li has balls. He at least decide, even though he played more good guys, this is actually his first American film in which he played a bad guy. And you know what? He's a badass. Jet Li is a badass in this movie. You have a fight scene, he fights this guy, strangles him, when he escaped the Riggs, he fights with him. He's still a badass, Jet Li's still a badass in this movie. And by the way, Jet Li was so fast, the director had to ask him a few times, please, make slow. He was so fast. And on the end, the fight on the finale, Jet Li and Mel Gibson, they're supposed to fight each other, but because it was unconvincible. They decided to put Danny Glover instead, So still the choreography, the fight scenes are still a badass, I would say definitely realistic, And and this is the first time that we actually see Danny Glover's character throwing punches. Yes, the first time, Okay, he put the nails in a Little Weapon 2. But I did not saw, I did not saw a fight scenes until this movie, And the Little Weapon 4 is like more a family film too. But on the end, we found out that the honk, because the tries they show up in Myrtle's house, they burn his house, but the young kid saves everyone, the young kid saves everyone, and and that's it. And now they try to find out, they now Riggs and Myrtle, they go after a car. There's a fight. There's a good action sequence, a car chase sequence, in the trailer, and they fight two bad guys. Riggs fights two bad guys, and one of them gets hit by a car. I think the other one gets killed in the car crash. They go. They find out there's actually a four. Rick. They actually my dog Rick. They actually found out there's actually a ransom for the family honk for the fake money, and of course 4 fathers who are all tried leaders. All 4 of them tried leaders. One of them is a brother of Jet Li, Wang Xing-ku, and because they show up on the end, there's a and Riggs fucks up, Vince Khan's plan, because he killed the honk, he killed his brother, his uncle, he killed that poor Chinese immigrant, he killed him, he killed Uncle Benny, and Riggs fucks him up, and he goes, fucks him up completely. In his plan, there's a fight scenes there's actually shootouts a lot, Butters gets hit in the shoulder for Murtaugh, Murtaugh saves his ass, and in Little Weapon 3, Murtaugh doesn't do like this, with his head. In this movie, he does, fires and accidentally hits brother, of Jet Li. Jet Li and his brother, he takes him, but his brother dies, and now there's a fight scenes, and Murtaugh gets knocked down, bloody, but Riggs and Wang Xing-ku, they go in the underwater, and of course Gibson grabs AK-47 and he shoots Wang Xing-ku to pieces. But he gets stuck, and I still don't know how Danny Glover finds out that he's underwater, but he jumps underwater, finds him, saves him, they both get alive, and this is and now because Lana is in a hospital, Martin Riggs, he shows respect to his wife on his grave, because in that movie they did not mention his wife, and Leo shows up and tells him about his rock. And that Roger and Roger and Martin are actually his family, even though I know Martin admits that he's rude many times to Leo, but they both go now to hospital, and Leo finds a rabbit which marries Lana. Lana gets a baby. Also, Rihanna, the same time the hospital gets a baby. Captain Murphy shows up and takes then the ranking away once again away, and now they became instead captain. They now became again sergeant. This kind of sucks, but they became sergeants once again. And there's they all get together pictures, and they and of course they all say we are big family. All of them take a pictures, a doctor takes a picture, and the movie then ends, and we see a music song by the first one is actually why can't we be friends by War, and the other one was by Pilgrim, Eric Clapton, which I watched the music spot many times, And then the movie ends, which is actually kind of sad. The fourth one really ends. Honestly, I wish it won't be such a sad ending, because we see all the album through all the cast, the everything, how they worked on these movies. In my opinion, Little Weapon 3 still ended kind of the franchise. Even though this movie was needed, because it was actually my biggest dream. I wanted to see the fourth sequel, another sequel, because I wanted to know what's going to happen with Lorna and Martin, because it wasn't explained, and they did that in this movie. They get married, she gets a baby, Riggs becomes once again Sergeant, and the movie ends. It's a happy ending. It's still also funny, but kind of wish that they could tone down humor. I kind of wish that it will be a badass like was the first movie. This is actually also the lacks in Beverly Hills Cop 3, which instead being a badass action comedy, they fucked up, with all crappy song, with like Eddie Murphy tried to be way too serious, or that he's a wisecracker, which he wasn't in the third movie. In the first two movies he was a wisecracking detective. This movie, in the third movie, sucked. But Little Weapon 4 is still better than Beverly Hills Cop 3. But if I go to the franchise of the four movies, I'll say Live Free or Die Hard. The fourth movie to this movie is much better. Rambo 2008 or Rambo 4 is much better movie in my opinion. And I'm Arrested 4, much better film. Friday 13 Part 4, the final chapter, much better sequel, much better film in my opinion. Probably the best one in the Friday 13 series. Halloween 4, not my cup of tea, but a lot of people consider number 4 the best one. Like the fourth one is many times like the best one, like Rambo 4 or Live Free or Die Hard. It's still Live Free or Die Hard, still not my number 1. That's my number 1. Then Die Hard: The Vengeance, then Live Free or Die Hard, then Die Hard 2, because I love all 4 movies. But I love all 4 Little Weapon movies. The movie was released in 7 July 1998. 1998 was filmed from 8 January till 15 May 1998. So that was, and because I was a big fan, I was a huge fan of Little Weapon movies. I watched them as a kid non-stop on VHS. I watched them non-stop on VHS, and I remember when I was sick, and we had this radio, and I heard a commercial about Little Weapon 4. And in that time I was sick, 1998, I was actually 14 years old. I was sick. I was lying in hospital, which is actually a summer. It was a summer, and I was sick. But I remember when I was listening to radio, I heard about this film. About they did the fourth movie. It was my biggest dream. I loved the third one so much that I even went to video store and asked for this movie. I asked them for this movie, and it wasn't released that time because it was still in movie theater. So I decided to choose director's cut Little Weapon 3. I was the biggest fan of all 3 Little Weapons. I watched the third one non-stop because of Lorna Cole. That's one of the reasons why I really do like this film. I don't love this film that much like the first 3 movies, but I like this film. I like Little Weapon 4. I like this film. It's still little, it's still a good movie, it's still a comedy, it's still an action comedy body cop film. It still feels little. It's still Little Weapon, still feels like a Little Weapon. All the cast from the previous Little Weapon franchise returned. Melly Ann Trainor returned, Steve Kahana returned, Mel Gibson, Danny Glover, Joe Pesci, and Rene Russo, they all returned in this movie, which is a new sequel. I forgot to show you the back, but this is the guys, Butters and Leo, and of course Jet Li, Vaccine Q and Riggs, and of course Riggs, you know. Yeah. Directed by Richard Donner, which in my opinion he did a good job directing this film. I love the song "Pilgrim" by Eric Clapton, um, and of course, yeah, um, but yeah, it was produced by Joel Silver and Richard Donner. Richard Donner also directed. It was 2 hours 7 minutes. Um, But yeah, I enjoyed the film. This is actually the final installment in the Little Weapon franchise, which is actually great ending to the series, but kind of sad ending to the series. I love that Rick is happy that he's now once again sergeant and that he's married. That he's married and that is more a happy ending. But honestly, I prefer this movie. I prefer Live Free or Die Hard more. Or Rambo. I prefer Rambo. I prefer Rambo 4 over Little Weapon 4. Because that's how you end the series. Like Live Free or Die Hard did, or how Rambo 4 ended. That's how you end it. And I still say the first Little Weapon is a pure classic. It's my favorite action movie of all time. The second one will be my third favorite, and the third one will be my second favorite because of Rene Russo, because I loved the actor so much, because I love the character so much. Mel Gibson and Rene Russo, they did Ransom. After Little Weapon 3, they did Ransom. And this is actually the sixth and final collaboration between Richard Donner and Mel Gibson. After Little Weapon trilogy, after Little Weapon 3 was ended, Mel Gibson did Maverick with James Garner and Jodie Foster, and I think was 1995 or was 1996 or 1994. I think it was 1994, and he also did Chaos Theory before he did the final installment in Little Weapon franchise. And I remember another thing. Mel Gibson, he stated that he's not gonna return with his character ever again. He also said that he hated this film, but when the movie was completed, he said that that he had fun working this movie and that he would love to do another Little Weapon film. But when the series ended, there was a lot of questions, and both the actors, Mel Gibson and Danny Glover, said no. But now it's been confirmed for Little Weapon 5. But I don't think that those two actors will do much because they're now both old. I don't know how old is Danny Glover, probably just like my dad. They're both big grandfathers. We don't need them. There's no need for another sequel. I hope they don't do Little Weapon 5. If they do, they need 2 new actors instead. The same is like with Die Hard. They want to do the sixth Die Hard. It's just gonna be a prequel titled McClane. Fuck that. This movie does not need the sixth movie. Rambo Last Crap was not needed. My opinion. But yeah, Little Weapon 4, good ending to the series. Still little. It's still a good movie. It's still a movie that I really like, that I watched it, that I rented on VHS. But the first 3 movies are always going to be my favorite of all time, No, there's no bad Little Weapon movies. This is not a bad movie. It's not my least favorite movie. But it's also not my favorite movie in the franchise, It's just, but it's a good movie. I would say it's a good movie. It's a good comedy. It's a fun movie. Yeah, it's a fun movie. I had fun and enjoyed it, and I'm glad. I'm glad they did the 4th movie. Great thing to end the series. But yeah, thanks. That's my movie review on Little Weapon 4. Thanks for watching. Take care, and I'll see you next time. I'm out. Peace.